Welcome back, everyone. This is Dave from Corn Productions with my co-host Stacie. Today we're taking a look at from Season 1, Episode 3, Choosing Day. Basically how this works is we're going to watch the episode, and you can watch with us as we watch the episode, and we're going to comment as we go. The episode is on mute because we don't want to include the audio from that, so we're basically going by subtitles. Stacie, you have anything to add to that I didn't already say?
We have 4 dogs with us today.
Oh, yes.
So if they get barky, we apologize. We're not going to pause.
Yeah.
In order to keep the integrity of the whole watch with us vibe.
Yep. No editing, no preparation of any kind, no notes. We're just watching as we go.
We're just rewatching and seeing what comes to us that maybe we didn't talk about before, or maybe we did talk about before, but we'll talk about it again. This is episode 3 in this series. If you want to go back and rewatch with us, episodes 1 and 2, those are already available. Alright, so we have it paused right now. We already passed the previously on segment.
Do we want to talk about your little stint on another From podcast first?
Sure. While you guys get that set up, go ahead and load your MGM Plus. Pull up episode 3, and like I said, we got through the previously on, and we're paused on MGM Presents, which is at 2 minutes and 20 seconds into that video. So while you guys are doing that, we'll chit-chat a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, so the What Is From cast, Alex from that show did a little Instagram Live last night to talk about the tentative agreement that the WGA has with the AMPTP.
We forgot to mention that.
We didn't mention that earlier in our last podcast. Yeah. But some exciting stuff there, right? Yep. As of the time we're recording this, they still need to have a vote with the members to ratify that. But hopefully that resolves soon, and then the actors can follow suit and get their own agreement, and then everybody can get back to making television and movies.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I also, before we talk about that, I also wanted to shout out Latrice, Ashley Wright, and Cabin Boy. All commented on the last couple of rewatches. I don't remember exactly what they said. Like I said, we're not doing any prepreparation of any kind. So I don't remember specific comments, but they did comment.
But thank you for being here.
Of course.
We're happy somebody cares to watch us sit here and watch television. But what we were saying about that is he did a little Instagram Live and invited me to come on and chat with him. So thank you, Alex, for that. And we chatted about our podcast a little bit. We chatted about From. And everybody's ready to start talking about the show again. We're already talking about the show again. So
yep, even though it's probably going to be like a year before
it's going to be at least a year.
Yeah, if not more. Because the actors are still on strike, unfortunately.
Yeah, but hopefully we're moving in the right direction.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so if everybody is in place, and if you're not, pause us until you get there. Again, we're at the 2 minute and 20 second mark, where it says MGM Presents on the screen, and we're going to start it in 3, 2, 1. It didn't start. There we go. It might be a couple seconds off.
Yeah, so of all the episodes, okay, so
there we go, right at it. So we immediately are in Colony House, seeing some
we're
mature content.
Yeah, some unpleasant scenes that I would like to wipe from my mind.
You guys aren't going to talk. The people are going to talk.
But yeah, so everybody's sleeping. They're having nightmares.
Yeah, they're remembering the night before.
I'm going to drink some tea from my Corn Productions mug from Zazzle.
Corn Productions mug. Today I'm drinking my tea out of a Feli from Germany cup, another great YouTuber. Check her out.
Yeah, we just spent 2.5 hours talking about Under the Dome, so I definitely need some tea to help with the talking that we're about to do.
So there's she's wearing that Fame t-shirt. That we've talked about so much before.
Yeah, Jade wakes up to a lunatic coming right at her.
Right.
Right at him, rather.
Which is funny because he doesn't know what the heck's going on. No one's told him anything yet.
And
he's like, why am I chained up? Like, it's like really, like as far as he's concerned, like he's just been kidnapped, right?
Right. This is not a good scene to wake up to.
And he's like a millionaire, so maybe somebody kidnapped him and has some ransom out for him. That's totally, an acceptable line of thought for him right there.
Yep.
All right, Boyd, what has he got there? Is that prayer beads or a necklace?
I'm not sure.
You can clearly see there's some jewelry, like, in focus there on the side of the image. I know. We're going to watch the show. Come here. I cuddled a puck. All right, so Boyd is waking up after all of those horrific events that happened the previous day.
And I think the Frank situation is on his mind.
Yes, he knows that he has something he has to deal with, right? Which is that rule. Frank broke their only law. There he is looking at the box. And he's got this dilemma, right? Do I execute Frank?
Right.
Which is my own law. Or do I not do it and risk everybody not listening to me anymore at all, right? Because I just proved that I'm never going to do anything.
Right. Now, yeah, I'm excited the most for talking about this episode because it's the one that I have the clearest memories of. Like, Choosing Day, I know what that episode is about.
Well, you think that. We'll see. We'll see how many times you wait that happens now.
Right. But for the most part, I have an understanding of what actually happens in this episode that I do not have for pretty much the rest of the season, other than maybe like episode 7 and the finale. And even that, it kind of bleeds together with the previous episode.
It's a little blurry, yeah.
Are we gonna see Mrs. Wu in this episode?
I think so. I'm pretty sure this is where we meet her.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're like the next day now after discovering her husband.
Yes.
I think this is the one where we get the whole broken glass story.
Oh, okay.
I think. I could be wrong.
We'll find out. And we're in the credits. Que sera, sera.
And of course, if we didn't say this yet and you're watching, full spoilers, we are covering every second of this episode. We may mention things that happen over the next 2 seasons, so if you aren't caught up with from the first 2 seasons, you should probably do that before watching us. This is a rewatch video.
Right. And our credits are just about to end.
Are they?
I thought they were about to end.
It's a long credit sequence.
They keep going.
Especially without the music, it's even longer.
Yeah.
Because, again, we're listening on mute. It's still going.
So far, all the dogs are cooperating.
So far. We'll give them a little bit. This one was a little pouty, but... Yeah, you want to say hi to everybody? This is Opie Dopey Wigglebot. Opie Dopey Wigglebot. He got stinky breath. You do.
You might also hear Adam walking around. We don't control the dogs barking, choking, or Adam walking around.
So this episode directed by Jack Bender we just got on our screen.
Mm-hmm.
Who
happy birthday.
Had a birthday yesterday or 2 days ago as of when this is going to be launched, or
it was
somewhere around then.
Probably tomorrow, and his birthday was on the 25th. And we're back from the credits. Boyd is clearly having a lot in his mind. He goes and talks to Frank. He looks very conflicted.
Yeah.
And he's basically asking Frank if he's okay, if he needs anything. He's being very humane to him. And he wants to basically make a point of telling him that what will happen or what he thinks might happen is not personal.
Yeah, and this is with a point as a viewer. You're like, why? What's going to happen?
Right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think at this point we even understand what's actually going on.
No, they haven't
we'll figure it out
really
eventually.
Told us. Yeah.
Right.
Like, we've seen the box, but we haven't been told what it is or why it's being used.
Yeah, I initially, when I was watching this, thought, okay, him being arrested is what's not personal. I didn't think what was going to happen was anywhere near what I was thinking at the time.
And yeah, I know we both have always agreed that, like, this is a pretty severe punishment for something that he's obviously, regrettable.
Well, I definitely have things to say about that. I don't know. I might as well say it now. Like,
that's what we're here for.
Yeah. Basically, you want to set up a criminal system with a capital punishment for. In our society, we use capital punishment for severe crimes.
Right.
Like active murder.
Right.
And so on and so forth. I don't think that Frank's crime raises to that level.
Right.
It's basically negligence, and you don't execute people for negligence. I mean, what would you give a person who accidentally gets somebody killed? Like that, you're not even
manslaughter.
Manslaughter. Even if you're okay, you're not at the house, and somehow your negligence causes someone to die. Is that you wouldn't consider that manslaughter?
If somebody broke into your house while you're not home and killed your child, you're not responsible at all for that.
Right.
I mean, unless the kid's home alone, then maybe.
Right.
But this kid wasn't home alone.
So I don't. The punishment doesn't fit the crime at all. Like I'm against capital punishment in general on principle, but if you're going to do it, it has to be for something severe, a severe, deliberate act of like horrific violence, which this Frank's crime does not rise to at all. At worst, it's negligence, and maybe you get sued for negligence. You don't get murdered for it. And at this point, I think Jade is in a scene with Elizabeth Saunders' character, whose name I'm completely blanking at the moment.
Donna.
Wow. But yeah, he doesn't believe anything.
Yeah, so they just got done filling him in. Donna and Ellis are here. They filled Jade in on the Fromville of it all, and he's just like, "Oh, this is a fun game."
Right. Yeah. It's like an escape room is basically how he's viewing it.
Right. He's like, "Oh, this is cool. It's so authentic." And he comes outside. We got somebody cutting hair on the deck there next to the barber pole.
That's a pretty cool piece of
interesting artwork there, yeah. I wonder, is Ellis doing that, or do we have another artist in the house?
If we have been introduced.
And here we meet Clara, who doesn't get a name until season 2. We just called her Bicycle Girl. A very famous moment right here where Jade steals her bicycle. And you see that bag that she's wearing?
Yes.
I have a bag very similar to that. Mine's a little bit bigger.
Oh, okay. And we see the boy in white again. Ethan is looking out the window. Why don't you guys go play? Well, I mean, I guess Ethan can't right now because he's a little injured.
He's very injured. He's less injured than he should be.
But yet, people will still complain throughout
So they're sleeping on cots in the living room. Where'd they get all these cots from?
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe they had them in their RVs that crash into town. Who knows? So
his pajamas are scratchy.
Yeah.
I wonder if those belonged to Victor.
It's possible.
They belonged to some little boy who was here at some point.
So they're still trying to figure out where they're going to live. And that's part of the choosing ceremony. They're supposed to eventually go into town. And they're going to leave Julie, with Ethan. And I think, I don't know.
We're not there yet.
Okay, so yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Now you're just trying to recall future scenes.
Yeah. We're skipping a little ahead.
Yeah, right now they're just looking for food first.
And
then they'll be told, that that's what's going to happen. And of course, he's just, perplexed with this boy in white. Hasn't mentioned it to anybody yet.
So is the boy in white just going to stand there the entire time?
That's what he's been doing. Is that the same clip we saw over and over?
Yeah, pretty much.
There's Mrs. Lou.
Yep, we got Mrs. Lou with Kenny.
Kenny's trying to tell her, it's okay to go home. You don't have to be here. You're grieving. But she pours herself into her work and her cooking, and there goes that glass breaking.
It's her way of dealing with grief, is just by getting to work, basically.
And there we got a nice shot of that display board in the back with the "Hope is a thing with feathers."
That's why you don't pick up glass that you drop.
Yeah, with your bare hands.
Yeah.
While you're upset.
Yeah, she just cut herself, and she has a pretty severe gash in her hand.
Yeah, she's blaming herself for not being at her husband's side, for allowing him to go live in the clinic without them. I mean, maybe they should have all stayed in the clinic.
Maybe. There's plenty of room.
And Sarah has to come face them, knowing what she did to their family.
But she's got to put on a brave face.
Yeah. And she gathers up the glass. And we got Victor about to go measure the trees. What's up?
I was just trying to see over
Well, scooch a little if you can't see properly.
Well, I was just trying to see what Victor was doing. I didn't realize he was in his lunchbox. But
yeah, there's Victor's lunchbox. It looks pretty banged up.
Yep. He's had that for a real long time. Victor totally could have avoided that puddle we just stepped in.
It would have ruined his measuring system.
Oh, okay.
And Fatima's got some blueberries. Trying to win over Julie still, who's got butterflies all over her shirt.
That kind of relates to another show that we've been watching.
It does. But we see butterflies later in this series, too. Butterflies on the wall of what's currently Sarah's room.
Right. So Fatima and Julie have been like basically bonding this entire time.
I wonder if Jack Bender has a preference to butterflies.
Maybe. Definitely not cicadas.
So yeah, she's still a bit moody.
As teenagers often are, but she definitely has cause to be.
Alright, so Jim has gone and retrieved their luggage from the RV. So
like a true hero.
Ethan can change into his own non-scratchy pajamas. And Ethan just wants to know where his books are.
The Chromonocle has to be somewhere.
Yeah, we're pretending that we forgot the books, but of course he remembered the books. I mean, this is the only time they're like, oh, let's go get stuff from the RV. Wouldn't you want to get like every little scrap of anything you can out of that RV?
You would figure it would be pillaged for every useful thing.
Right.
And there's the Chromonocle.
Yeah, which I feel like there's got to be more significance to these stories.
Mm-hmm.
They feel very relevant. And this is one of those that I have full confidence that any little sentence that might be said somewhere could end up coming back and being really important later to the story. It's interesting, the captions said that it's a bird noise that he's making. I don't know if I'd ever interpreted it that way before.
It's funny, for all the crap that Jim gets in this series, and I've certainly given him some, especially in the back half of season 2, he really is a good dad. I mean, they're a little bit negligent at times, but...
Two Chromonocles in the cave, they said. The Chromonocles are in the cave.
Oh.
So I feel like Julie's already feeling a little bit left out at this point, like they're catering to Ethan here.
I mean, that kind of goes with having a younger sibling, but
right.
At the same time, he's also injured, so there's that.
All right, now we're learning
talking about the choosing ceremony.
What the choosing ceremony
Okay, so now I'm going to get into the point I was talking about before. I think they make a mistake not bringing Julie along.
Absolutely, 100%.
I don't know who you would leave Ethan with exactly, or why even leave Ethan behind. There's not like a wheelchair somewhere that they can carry him around.
Carry him. It's not that far.
Include the kids in this decision.
Absolutely.
And I think that's one of the reasons why she does what she does later. One of the reasons. I think there's multiple reasons.
I think this is a big part of it, though. Is she feels like she's being left out. She's not being... they don't care about what she thinks.
Mm-hmm.
And, you
don't
want to show me the town? I don't want to go to the town, then.
Right. They're making decisions for all of them when they should all be included in that decision, given that they're...
Especially Julie, though. I mean, she's... 16, 17, we learned it later. I forget which one it was.
I think it was 16 that they specifically said, but...
Alright, so Jade has found his way to the diner.
Where he's basically going to annoy everybody.
Yeah, so they've got this nice buffet line going. I don't know if we actually see this set up again in the future, that they're serving a buffet.
Right, no, I don't remember seeing that other than in this episode. But it makes sense. It's not like they can serve actual meals for too long.
Yeah, but
they have limited options.
When, the Matthews family first comes, which I think is the next episode, she's like, what do you want to eat? And they order pancakes.
Oh, okay. This looks more like lunchtime. And yeah, he's basically annoying. This is the first time that we see Mrs. Wu and Jade together.
Yeah, which I know you love their relationship.
Yes. See, it's funny because I didn't initially like Jade as a character. He grew on me as the season progressed, and I really enjoyed him.
Yeah, I think he's probably my favorite character. He's a lot of fun.
Right.
And Nathan's upset that Sarah even came to work. But yeah, I'm with her. It would look awful weird if she didn't go to work. Why wouldn't she be at work? Right.
She would then have to explain her absence. She could be like, oh, I have the flu, but, So, Sarah's pretty confident that everything's going to be okay. Her brother doesn't look anywhere near convinced.
Yeah, he's not comfortable with any of this. Remember, he knows what she did. And so Katri is showing the Matthews parents what the town is like, and it's going to show them the house where they would be living if they choose the town. He's explaining more about the monsters and how they work.
Mm-hmm. They really should have kept Katri around longer, I think.
I mean...
they had to kill somebody.
Yeah, but
the stakes,
they keep the actor. He's in a lot of episodes afterwards.
Mm-hmm. I think he's like in 2 or 3 episodes of season 2.
But yeah, he's really this intermediary between the town and Colony House. Like, he's the one person that they're all just accepting of,
Mm-hmm. I guess it comes with being a priest. You just get trusted.
And they want to know what the box is. I feel a little strange that they're like, what's that? I mean, it just looks like a pile of junk. I don't know if I'd be particularly, focusing on what is that.
Right. That's very clearly to explain it to us, the audience, for sure. They introduced the concept.
And here's where we're learning that death sentence comes when you do something that leads to somebody else's death.
I want to know how Boyd even came up with that, since he's so reluctant to even do it. Why he ever dreamed this up in the first place.
Right.
Especially for, the crime that Frank commits.
I mean... Okay, so maybe the reason he came up with you're punished to death if you cause someone's death because he's trying to justify the fact that he killed his wife for taking other people's lives.
Right.
So, if that's the punishment she got, that's the punishment everyone should get.
That wasn't necessarily what he was doing, though. I mean, he shot his wife to save Ellis.
Right. But from...
You think in his mind it got warped?
I mean, that's what everyone saw, though. She killed a bunch of people and he shot her.
Right.
So, if she got killed, it only makes sense someone else who's, causing death gets killed. I just think their definition of what's negligence and causing death is a little skewed here. And never is there even a question is he guilty of this?
Right.
They just go right to, it's going to happen tonight, and everybody knows it, and he knows it.
No debate, no discussion.
Right. No, is this a case of his negligence led to the death?
Mm-hmm.
And we're getting this shot of Megan's room, which they won't show us this room again. I'm assuming they just don't use this room. I remember being critical watching this, why didn't anybody try cleaning this up a little bit before showing it to them?
Right.
Was it that much of a hurry to do this ceremony that you couldn't have, just cleaned the room a little bit? There's so much blood.
And yeah, if this wasn't real for them, it is now.
I mean, yeah, maybe that's the point. They wanted them to be like, look how serious this is.
Right.
I want you to see the blood.
Well, when you put it that way, anything would sound crazy.
Yeah,
the way Tabitha is explaining the situation.
She's not having any of this.
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't believe it. She's like, this place is crazy. These people are crazy. We need to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's recalling his night in the RV. Like, no, this is real.
Oh, that's right, because Tabitha hasn't really experienced the monsters in quite the same way that
she saw them on the porch, but she hasn't like had like this real scare encounter like he did in the RV. And this is Frank's ask, what does he want before tonight? And he wanted to come out here into the woods, and we've got this kind of rope swing that Megan used to play at. This might be the first time we're getting with that rope motif, which will be important. And, maybe there's something to that. Maybe there's not. We don't really know. It's possible that this recurring rope that we keep seeing everywhere ends up being something. Maybe this all is somebody's imagination or a fake world, and maybe there is a rope in the real world that's important.
Maybe it's just to get the audience to ask how the rope was thrown down to Boyd in the season 2 premiere, or I don't know, the second episode, whatever. One of those episodes. Yeah. On repeat, ad nauseum, forever.
Right, but here's the first view of the rope, and we will see the same looking rope over and over and over again. It does look just like the rope thrown down the well. It does look just like the rope in the lighthouse that's going up the stairs. And I think a few other places we see rope. So, is it just something visually thematic that they decide to keep reusing, or is there something about it?
Well, right here, Ethan is getting a crutch and he's out of bed.
Yep.
So I guess it's a long way to town, but still, there's no reason why these two couldn't come along.
Yeah. They have vehicles.
Right.
Why didn't you drive them into town?
Mm-hmm. Now, that's not the crutch he continues throughout the rest of the series.
So this is the crutch Ellis made him. It'll eventually get replaced with a stick
that Victor gives
him. Yeah.
And Julie's kind of confused why...
Yeah, why are you guys helping us? Yeah. Like, where we come from, people don't help each other. Similar to what we saw in Under the Dome that we've been covering. We had that conversation from the outsiders, like, why is everybody helpful here?
Jade is now annoying Kenny, and Kenny's kind of blank, annoyed look is really kind of funny.
Yeah,
as Jade talks
I love this, that he wants it. You know what? There should be a From Escape Room.
Yeah, we should create one.
Yeah, like make this. Somebody needs to make this. That would be fun.
Yeah, but if you guys go ahead and do that, definitely give us credit. We came up with the idea first.
Well, maybe once this show's done filming in 5 years.
Yeah, yes.
Because we're going to stay on the air and finish the story.
20 years.
Once this series is done filming, turn this set into some kind of a place to visit, and make an escape room, make a haunted house, do this stuff. We want to come visit as the Frumley fandom. We want to get behind the gates and actually check out this place. And wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, definitely.
Do overnight scare adventures?
Yeah.
I know they can't it's not they're not actually full buildings with
right
coded plumbing and electricity and all that good stuff, but it'd be fun to have something here that people could visit and interact with.
Jade kind of is treating Kenny like he's an NPC in a video game. He's asking, "Hey, am I supposed to get a clue from you or an object to get out of here?"
Right. And Kenny's just keeping his cool. And Jade leaves. He's like, I'll figure it out myself. Here comes Christy.
Yeah, Kenny's pretty convinced that Jade isn't going to last here very long.
Yeah. And he's, of course, concerned with Christy, wants to make sure she has had food.
And yeah, Christy's asking about, what happened and how he's holding up. And they hold hands. Aww.
then back to Victor. I wonder if he does this every day.
It's like a ritual for him?
Measuring the trees, using his feet. I don't know. He's gonna eventually tell Ethan the trees moved 4 inches. Those don't look like he's doing very accurate measurements. He's taking uneven steps. Do you think the trees have moved 4 inches, or does he just, not good at measuring with his feet?
And here, Victor and Ethan are meeting for the first time, I think. And this is where the bromance began.
Yeah. These two obviously are getting a lot closer as the story progresses. I want nothing more than for them to just be BFFs. And they're getting there. They're pretty close now.
Yeah.
Because, Victor is Ethan's peer.
Yes.
They are. They're at the same mentality.
Same level of maturity. Sometimes I would argue that Ethan is actually more mature than Victor.
Absolutely.
I think I've made that argument at least once.
And he decides to tell Victor about the boy in white, of all people to tell. Which, of course, Victor, that means something to him.
Yep.
It's funny that he's going to jump to the conclusion that he's friends with this boy because they've waved to each other through a window a couple times.
Right. Hey, if you see the monsters waving at you, you guys
They're
are not
your
friends.
Right.
I'm actually surprised that these dogs aren't barking more.
Yeah. This one hears an airplane outside. That's why he's starting to fuss a little bit. He either really loves or really hates airplanes. I'm not sure which one.
Maybe he wants to go for a ride.
He does, yeah.
Julie's going to wear that dress for a few episodes. I think it's the same one as we... Actually, I think she's wearing that in episode 7.
I think so.
Yeah.
So she's upset that Ethan's talking to Victor. Of course, I think what she's really upset with is she's kind of failing at her babysitting duties.
Yeah, what else is new?
She doesn't want to get in trouble for... whatever he's getting up to, because she's supposed to be watching him.
Well, at this point in time, Julie doesn't know Victor, and yeah, so...
Well, remember they had, one really
they had that
encounter.
one interaction, and yeah, to see your little brother talking to a guy that you don't really know, who seems kind of creepy.
Yeah.
He really just lacks social skills, but yeah, it's not something that you want to see.
Alright, so Jade heads... Where's he heading? He's heading to the root cellar, yes?
Yes. Why is he going there?
He's looking around town, trying to find clues for the... And there we can see that foundation of that burnt-out building there, which I never noticed until 206. It was the first time I ever noticed that foundation was there. Which that foundation, this root cellar probably was being used by whatever that building was. Looks like it dates to the same time period as, say, the church.
And this is where Ethan and his sister were very temporarily before his sister ran off.
Victor.
Who did I just say?
You said Ethan.
Ethan? Yeah, that's not what I meant to say.
We know.
What the?
And we get Jade's first
hallucination?
Vision. And his first look at the symbol. And that scary guy there that was crushed by a boulder that he just saw. I've seen people say they think he's a Civil War soldier.
Can't really tell.
In addition to the Civil War soldiers, you'll see later. I don't think that's the case. I've looked at screenshots of this gentleman we just saw, and tried changing the lighting, and I feel like he's more modern. He's wearing a wristwatch or something on his wrist. He looks to me like he's in a business suit. I don't think it's a soldier.
So, I don't remember any of that at all. I don't remember that.
Okay.
So that's
right. Yeah. So Dave's only watched this season once. Season 1. You didn't really dive in till season 2.
But this scene is pretty good between Katri and Boyd. Boyd is looking to not kill Frank.
We'll get a lot of these kind of philosophical discussions between them throughout the series. In most of them, though, Katri's not actually there.
Right. Well, I think this is the template for that conversation between whatever Katri is in season 2. Like this, it's a very similar conversation.
Yeah, this is showing us their relationship. You know, and Katri is his person here that he talks to and confides in. And you get the impression that they spend a lot of time having these types of discussions together.
So whether it be Ghost Katri or basically just his memories of those type of conversations coming to the fore, like...
Or from Valenti.
Yeah, something along those lines.
But whatever it is, yeah, you can see that it mirrors this relationship that they do have. And, you know, what he wants to happen right here is for Katri to talk him out of the punishment.
But Katri, unfortunately, is making the exact opposite argument. I don't agree with him, necessarily.
So he says you warned him on several occasions very publicly. Warned him what? To make sure you nail the windows?
Right, and why couldn't the mother do that?
Or warned him to be home. Because if you knew the windows weren't nailed, why hasn't somebody nailed the windows?
Right.
If you know it's not done, go in there and do it. Or if it's just about, I warned you not to be drunk and stay out all night, is that really the reason that the kid died?
Right. And are you the dude's father? Like, I don't think that...
Because this could have just as easily happened if all three of them were home.
Yeah.
But,
so basically, Katri is arguing to use the box so that he maintains credibility.
Right,
with the town,
it's like dealing with a child. If you're going to threaten a punishment, you have to follow through.
That's parenting 101.
Otherwise, they're not going to listen to anything you say. Because they're going to call your bluff.
And Boyd calls him the worst priest ever. And that's going to be a reoccurring thing that we're going to hear.
Alright, passing the box on the way back to the post office turned police station.
It looks pretty rusty, so it doesn't look like straight up wood.
Yeah, and he says he built this. I'm not sure what he built it out of. We have all of these perfect circles cut into it.
Yeah, well, what is the point of that exactly? I mean, you probably didn't like build the circles.
So that we can see the monsters.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I've seen people think that, you know, this was his old moving trailer that he came to town with, but we see that. It's on the side of the police station, so that's not what this is.
We also see him reconstruct the thing.
I'm wondering, is it like a horse trailer?
It kind of looks that way.
Maybe? Some kind of livestock something?
Like in the next or whatever episode after Frank dies, which I think it happens in this episode, we do see him rebuilding it.
Right.
So I don't know if he's rebuilding the same thing or if he's just constructing a new one.
Alright, so he's decided he's not going to follow through. He's like, take this talisman. Where's he getting an extra talisman from? Oh, that's the one from his house, but you're about to try and move somebody in there, so.
Yeah.
And he says there's this cabin just outside of town. Go there, make a life for yourself. Basically, he's offering banishment as opposed to execution. Meanwhile, we've got
the choosing
ceremony. The whole town has gathered. Again, a lot of extras that aren't necessarily the same people we ever see again, and not a lot of people that we do know. Similar to, you know, in the episode 1, we were critiquing the people in that gathering. Like all of the minor characters that we do end up knowing throughout this aren't here yet.
Right. Where's Claire? I don't see her anywhere.
Yeah, so definitely not everybody's here. And, you know, it brings up that question, like, how many people live in this town? There's only, like, 3 houses that we don't know who lives in them.
Maybe Claire couldn't get here because Jade stole her bike.
Well, yeah, I mean... this whole ceremony is, like, really, like, who came up with this? Why are you doing all this? Just ask people where they want to live. But they have this whole, like, no, you have to pick the rock or the flower, and once you do it, it's final. You can't change your mind. Like, it's all very kooky.
So Frank has basically decided that he wants to die, that he wants to go in the box, despite Boyd basically arguing against doing that to the town.
Mm-hmm. Does that look like Tilly's windbreaker that this girl is wearing back there?
It does a little bit. And mainly he talks about how he used to be as a father the last Christmas before he ended up here.
Yeah, which is where I remember like questioning how long has the Pratt family been here? It's February right now.
Right.
End of February. So was the last Christmas 2 months ago? You've been here, within that amount of time? Or have you been here a year and 2 months? And he gets this nice little monologue here. I know. It's okay, it's not real.
It's very moving. It's moving the dog to tears.
And he decides, only place I want to be is with my family.
I don't know. Maybe there's less brutal ways to get there.
Yeah, probably. Like, maybe come here and request a more civil execution.
Right. Well, he could have done it himself. He was free just moments ago.
Well, I mean, yeah, but, depending on what his religious beliefs are.
Right,
He could believe he won't end up with his family if he does that.
Right.
And then there's Jade.
Yeah, Jade is...
Who thinks this is all a show for his benefit. He thinks every person here is an actor.
And at this point, Boyd is pretty fed up with him. And manhandles him, and that pisses Jade off.
Yeah, so he's like, pick what you want. And I don't think Jade even knows what's going on. He just picks up the rock for no reason. Which means he's going to head to the town. I think Jade should have ended up in Colony House. He'd have been better off there, I think.
I don't know. I think he preferred to be alone.
He does prefer to be alone, but a single person, first of all, is going to be a better fit there than trying to fit you into a house. We've got we've got his inclination to be doing drugs and partying. I think he'd fit in there. He resists it, saying, these people, I don't like them, but I think he'd have fit in there pretty well if that's where he ended up.
So he's now rushing the ceremony, Boyd.
Yeah.
And both the parents basically choose the town. Does Ethan get a choice here?
He does.
Okay.
He says, I need everybody to tell me. And of course, Ethan follows what his parents say, and Julie is being resentful here. Yeah,
so I think there's multiple things going on here. One, there's just flat out teen rebellion.
Yeah.
Two, there's the fact that she's mad as hell at her parents for multiple reasons.
Right, for the
one, for leaving her out.
Thing, keeping her out.
Which we don't know about the divorce yet, but we do know that she knows about that.
We did.
Oh, we do?
We learned that when, she was talking with Tabitha.
Oh, that's
when she was doing the laundry. And she was like, I know you guys are getting divorced. I don't know why you haven't told us.
Right, so she's 9 kinds of mad at her parents for starters.
And she likes Colony House.
Right, and I think
she's gotten close with Fatima.
Right.
She's like, why am I going to leave? Just to go be with you guys? I don't like you guys. I'm going to be a grown-up right now and make my own decisions.
Right. And, of course... Donna is not helping the situation.
Yeah, and she's like, she made her choice. This is your rules. No, take the axies.
There's not a whole lot of adulting going on here. They're all acting like children.
Yeah. And during this scene, you notice Katri has that stole on. I don't know if this is the first time we've seen it, or even if we see it again. But there's been a lot of questions of who made that, where'd it come from. It's got night on one side, day on the other, with images of the crows and the monsters and the talisman. So somebody clearly made it in town. It's very interesting that he's going to wear that as performing all of his duties.
His ceremonies.
Yeah.
So Kenny's walking with Jade, and Kenny's going to do him a solid and show him a little bit of tough love, which nobody else bothers to do.
Right. They dug a grave for Toby. But he's like, look, Jade, I'm going to prove to you, there's your buddy.
Yeah, and he's not looking so hot right now.
And finally, it's going to get through Jade's head.
Yeah, this is not a joke. This is real. And it's kind of interesting that Kenny, of all people, is the one that does this.
And yeah, it's not funny anymore.
Nope, it's not.
Definitely not funny. Wouldn't it be funny? I mean, it wouldn't be, but if after like 4 or 5 seasons it turns out it is just an escape room.
That would be kind of funny. I don't think I would appreciate the series ending on that, but...
Maybe some alternate reality episode that turns out to be just a dream he had, where we find out like it's all fake and all these people are still alive.
Well, we're getting close to nighttime.
Yep, it's getting dark. They're trying to disperse the crowd after the choosing ceremony, but they're just heading over to the box. Because they want to see what happens here. Boy doesn't want to do this, but I mean, it's his choice.
Right, at this point, Frank is basically making this decision.
It's okay.
You know, watching this on mute, I have a definite bigger appreciation for the acting. Because you know, the facial expressions really sell things.
Right, like the music in this series, the all the editing is great, but yeah, this really lets you focus on their mannerisms and everything that these guys put into this show. This show has an amazing cast.
Absolutely.
Like everybody is strong.
We definitely said that many times before, but it's definitely worth repeating.
He says he's ready. No turning back once they close that door and head inside.
So hopefully all these people live nearby, because hopefully it doesn't take too long to get home.
Yeah, well, that's what he's saying. Like, okay, you guys gotta go home now. Like, you can't stay and watch, because...
Right. Because otherwise you're gonna die too. It's interesting that Boyd doesn't say anything to Katri, because he's kind of pissed at him.
And nobody said anything to Frank, like, okay, bye.
Right, it was nice knowing you. May you die with honor, something.
Alright, so what's she doing? She's gathering vegetables to take home?
Man, these guys are cutting it pretty damn close.
And that jukebox is gonna turn on again.
What song are they playing this time?
If It Be Your Will.
Well, thank you, closed caption. I'm sure you knew that.
I had forgotten which one was next.
Are you familiar with that song?
No, I actually had never heard this song prior to this show. I mean, I've listened to it, now, but...
Hey, the Matthews are
the
in their new
Matthews
home.
are moving in.
Just don't go in the little girl's room.
Of course, 3/4 of the Matthews are moving in. And they've got all their luggage. And they're just gonna come hang out here. I know, Opie. And he has the talisman. I know he does. He's gonna hang it up. Yeah. Opie's being very vocal. Oh, there we go. That's what she was collecting. The actually, it looks like it was apples, not vegetables.
Oh, okay.
It was for her altar to her husband.
And the Kenny and Mrs. Wu have a new house guest.
Yeah, because he picked town. It's like, okay, where's he gonna go in the town now? I guess he's gonna come live with us.
I mean, I think he should get a do-over because really, he literally had his arm twisted as to what rock to pick.
Yeah. Well, he'll find his own place he wants to be soon enough.
And that's an unfortunate story in itself.
It is. I don't like it. I know, it's sad.
And we see Mrs. Wu finally grieving her husband, which she hasn't, I think, really allowed herself to do up until this point.
And they're going to tuck Ethan in the same bedroom as them. It's a lot of beds in this town. And he's expressing concern that Julie's not here. And we're going to read some more Chromonocle.
Do we ever even get to hear any of that?
A little tiny bits and pieces.
You know, Jack Bender should make a Chromonocle book. Or should illustrate it and have somebody write it. Chromonocle. Chromonocle?
Chromonocle.
Chromonocle. A cat. So there's a cat.
There's a cat in the story, yeah.
Ooh.
And here's Julie's welcome to Colony House. They're all very welcoming to her. They're not going to treat her like a child here.
Right. And I think that's another part of the appeal. She's going to be treated like an adult here. More so than her parents had been.
Right. And let the party begin at Colony House because they have these nightly parties.
But she will, at least initially, regret her decision.
I was saying how they had that conversation. That didn't happen yet, did it?
Nope.
Why didn't you correct me?
Wait, I didn't even remember you saying it. Alright, so Frank's in the box. He's got a lot of room in there for something that he's not going to get a lot of time in.
Yeah. And I wonder if he's regretting his decision at this point.
I would be.
Like, hey guys, wait, I changed my mind.
Actually, I don't think I would make this decision period. I think I would just not. I would have gone to the, exile route.
And he probably still would have ended up dying if he did that, but it would have been a little slower.
Yeah.
He might have made it a while first with the talisman.
And the monsters are coming to greet him. Boyd is watching from the window. Or he takes a look.
He's tentatively looking, because remember, if you look at them too much, they're going to get that charm over you, and they can convince you to let them in. So they're always afraid to look at them. And we've got this old man here who, I've seen people say he's the lighthouse keeper, that older monster we just saw. Of course, that's speculation. And he puts up his dukes. What, are you going to punch him? Like, do you think you can fight them off? I thought you wanted to die.
Right. Well, maybe...
Was that Smiley? I think we just saw Smiley.
I think we did. Maybe in this situation, he's a little less convinced of the whole wanting to die thing. Because, they're... As much as he, misses his family, there's still instincts.
Brr, there we are in monster format. Oh.
Yes.
Kudos to Bob Mann.
Yes,
Great performance as Frank Pratt. That's his exit to the series. So far.
Right.
We
could always
meet Frank again.
Yep.
There's still potential. Was there something about who this family was that Boyd almost said to Ellis? Remember when he was like, Lauren's the one who...
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, I know. And that was always like a little like, well, what were you going to say?
Right.
So, you know, maybe this family comes back up in a story in the future, whether it be a flashback or a vision or a dream or, you know, a origin story of anybody. They could be there at the time.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know.
I mean, you know,
we probably
flashbacks,
won't see Megan again.
I doubt it.
Just because
the actress is going to be like too old.
Bella Martin already looks like she's 20 right now.
Yeah, I haven't seen recent pictures.
Following her Instagram story.
Okay.
But yeah, we could easily bring back Bob Mann and the actress that plays Lauren, whose name I still don't know. I'm sorry.
All right. So, do we have anything else to say about this episode?
That was a great episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was referring to things that happened like in episode 4, like they'd already happened because my brain isn't handling this very well.
Right. So we're going to actually talk about episode 4 eventually.
Yeah, we're going to fit these in between when we can. Things
Everything else we're trying.
Things have been busy in our personal lives and in Chlorine Productions schedule, so be on the lookout. And hopefully we'll get news soon that
the actors have finally
that
settled
everything's
and the writers are
progressing
good.
with the strikes, and then eventually we're going to get a date that they're going to start filming, and then eventually we're going to get a release date for season 2. That'll be exciting, or season 3 rather. Yeah,
all good stuff. All right, we want to hear from you. What did you think of this video? Stacie can be reached at.
I can reach on Twitter, X, Instagram, Threads at TVN Coupon Talk.
If you like this video and want to support the channel, there are a number of ways to do so. You can follow me on Twitter at Core Productions for now. You can join one of my Core Productions Facebook pages. You can buy something from the Core Productions store on Zazzle, which has a whole bunch of new cool products thanks to my co-host, like this mug, for instance, that I've been drinking from.
And I've got my Core Productions t-shirt on today.
And she let me drink from it today. Last couple of times it was her that got to drink from it, but today I got the honor. And you can buy me a coffee, which is a new way to support content creators such as ourselves. And of course, you can like, share, and comment on this video, as well as subscribing to our channel. This is Dave and Stacie from Core Productions, signing off.